today's topic is just going to be a retrospective of my 50,000 mile ownership of this car. So you guys probably saw that on the title of this video, and that's why you clicked on it. So I get asked this question a lot, and people always ask me like what I wish I've done with my car. Would I do it all over again? And I know I kind of discussed that during the other features that I did for my channel. So I guess I will use this time to discuss my own cars. My car is a 2020 Supra, so automatic. The manuals didn't come out until 2023 model year. So if you guys are wondering about that, that answers that. I have a couple of other videos where I go over my cars, my experiences and stuff, but I want to take this time to really go over just my whole entire ownership experience because honestly, my car is probably one of the highest mileage Supras out there. And a lot of other people, sadly, they leave their cars just in the garage, sitting there gathering dust. But damn, like these engineers went to school for, engineering, trying to get hired at BMW or Toyota just to be able to design this car. And you're just going to let your car sit in the garage. But anyways, I digress. So we'll go over my car. Here it is, my baby. So ironically, I don't know if that's the right word to say, but we are actually at the Toyota Musa factory. So if you guys are in the Dallas area where I'm located now, this car's just right at home. But let's talk about the 50,000 mile experience with this car. So just for me, and hopefully this will help you guys whenever you are deciding to whether or not you want to jump into this platform or not. But my goal ultimately for this car was to find something that was going to get just my want for speed, my want for something sporty that's going to be different from all of the other cars on the road. That's just going to be really different. And then also really being reliable regardless of the abuse that I put on it. And thankfully, this car checks all of those boxes. So if you guys are one of those folks that's like was in my shoes at that time before I purchased this car, you tuned into the right video. But anyways, let's go ahead and just discuss real quick what I wish that I did when I purchased this car. So let's go over the most important thing that I wish that I did at the very, very beginning. And I know my buddy Brad, if you're watching this, you're going to shake your head, you're going to laugh at it. But let's go ahead and go here to the hood and the front bumper. Is that I wish I did a clear bra on it. So I don't know if you guys can see that from the camera, but there's like rock chips all over the car. So that's just going to happen naturally with this car just because of how low it is. I mean, there's one right there. There's a couple of blemishes right there. And if you look over here, you'll see that. And then another chip right there. When you guys drive the car as much as I do, that's bound to happen. I mean, you guys go on the road, there's going to be semi trucks that just kick up a lot of rocks, and that's something that can't necessarily control. So if you guys are in the same boat as me, or you guys are just purchasing your car, if you just recently purchased it, definitely get PPF first, because just the way that the shape of this car is, it's very, very long. You guys can probably see it with the hood. It's very long, and you guys are going to get chips on it. So at least, please get PPF on the front clear bra. If you can, go ahead and do it with the headlights. Do it with the hood. And then also, if you guys just follow me around here, I know it doesn't have like full fenders, but get it on the front fenders right here, because whenever your tires, especially if you modify or just do a bigger wheel and tire setup. So I'm running TE37s here. I'll put the wheel specs on here if you guys are interested in other videos on that. But it's going to kick up rocks here naturally. So you want to go ahead and just add PPF here at least. So from bumper, the hood, and the fender. You can do the rest of your car PPF. That's completely up to you. But even though on face value, it is pretty expensive, it is 100% worth it, because you don't want to be like me at this point where you're approaching your third year of ownership and you're going to have to respray and then pay for PPF on top of that just to make sure that it's perfect. But, I knew that at the end of the day that like this was going to be my daily driver, but that is 100% my biggest regret whenever like I look back in my ownership of this car. The other thing that I wish that I did was going into the interior. So let's go ahead and go to the interior real quick. And for you guys that have had cars with leather seats, is that I wish that I did something to protect the leather. So you guys can probably see here on the bottom, there's some weathering here, and then there's some weathering here on the leather seat. Just because it's a lower car, the way that you know, sit into it, sit in the seat, it's a little bit weird. So let me go ahead and just demo how I, like, I guess go inside the car. It's kind of like I fall into the seat, so I approach it at that angle. So whenever you get into the car like that, obviously, you know, your leg is going to rub into this, and then your back is going to hit it right here. It's naturally going to weather those over time, just because, you know, if you've owned this car for many, many years at this point, I mean, that's just a part of it. I really wish that I did something with that, because I'm not really keen on upgrading the seats, just because these are fantastic. I want to keep the heated seats. I want to keep it relatively OEM, and I'm not the fan of like doing like racing seats, especially if it's your daily driver, because I mean, it's already a low car, and then it's got like a low roof line. You don't necessarily want to, you know, try to not hit this with your head, and then also try to just, you know, sit in the car. So definitely those are the two things. But if you were to ask me for the rest of the vehicle, like for my mods, just aesthetic wise, I wouldn't like change a thing. So when I first purchased the car, it was on BM3 and had a downpipe and exhaust. So I'm running a, CTS turbo downpipe and then a Magnaflow X Mod exhaust with the mufflers. Again, it was tuned on BM3 and it was great. Initially, what I thought when I purchased the car, I was like, man, okay, this car is sitting up 450 wheel with, you know, 91 and those mods on BM3. I was set, but that wasn't enough for me. So I did E50 tune through mkiv body. I switched over to ECU. If you guys have a locked ECU, so I have another video on that. Make sure to check out the description box below or one of these corners for the link on that. But I wanted more power, so naturally the best kind of like route for streetability is just simply doing a downpipe and then doing an E50 tune. So I did that, went through mkiv body, best in the game in my personal opinion, and I was making 500 wheel and 600 torque. So I was really happy with that. As time went on, I wanted more power, so I went ahead and added port injection, 1000cc injectors. I added the Visconti Flex Fuel kit with the reflex box, and then I did the Pure 800 turbo. It's still tuned by Mikey, and if I was to guess, it makes high 600, 700 wheel horsepower, which is honestly a lot, and it's probably more than what the street can handle. Yeah, I mean, I like to feel that if some Hellcat or whatever rolls up next to me, that I'll be able to whoop its ass. If you were to ask me if I would do those mods again, I definitely would. Just because, like, if you guys didn't know, the B58 platform, well, the one specifically in the Supra, it's very, very robust. As long as you guys, again, you watch my other videos, I preach this all the time. You guys take care of the car, it's going to take great care of you. And, I mean, my car as it sits right now, it's like 50,300 miles. I came from Subarus. I know for a fact that doing 700 wheel on a stock motor is impossible in an EJ. There's very, very few amount, like, well, modern engines. There's very, very few drivetrains now that, you know, will be able to handle that kind of power on relatively simple amount of mods. My motor is completely 100% unopened. Never touched it outside of those bolt-ons. And the fact that I was able to get this kind of power and reliability from it, knock on wood, wherever the closest, you know, tree is, nothing happens, but it's been super reliable. There's a couple of other videos where I go over all the mods, so if you guys were wondering like what the costs were, definitely make sure to check that out, because I did a lot of time to make sure that you guys understand what you're getting yourselves into whenever you're wanting to do this with your Supra. But that's just my retrospective. I know that was a lot of information, so make sure to check out like the bookmarks down below. And if you guys have any questions, you know, hit me up. Leave some comments down below, or even hit me up on Instagram. It's just at VC I'll do my best to get back with you. So I really appreciate everyone taking the time to watch this video and, for hitting me up. If you guys have any suggestions for other videos, definitely let me know. I'm always willing to listen since, hey, you guys are going to be the ones watching it. But if you guys like this type of video, let me know also. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff, what every YouTuber says. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.